Today, we're going to give you updates on the most important businesses for Tesla. First, a fatal accident in China of a Xiaomi SU7 electric vehicle using Navigate on autopilot has sparked a major outcry in social media. With 3 people dead, the public is concerned about safety. But actually, the car only had low-level driver assistance and did not have LiDAR. Chinese testers using Tesla's full self-driving replicated the accident, and FSD performed smoothly and perfectly. We'll watch that video. Second, Tesla dropped a new video a few days ago of Optimus now walking more human-like. Why did they just show the Gen 2 version and not the latest? What's the significance that Elon Musk says that much better actuators are coming? Finally, it seems Tesla's about to build a futuristic cyber UFO-themed supercharger station in New Mexico. Why are they doing this? The Tesla executive in charge of the program weighed in and explains. And we got Larry Goldberg here with us, and we're going to have Larry weigh in and explain. Thank you so much, Larry.
Great to be here, Herbert.
So these are the important things to keep eyes on. It's FSD and the robots. And this one, we're hearing more and more social media experts in China as they test out Tesla's FSD, they compare it with Huawei. Well, what happened, as we've been watching those videos, we're seeing, the Chinese testing it, realizing now that FSD is generations ahead of the Chinese autopilot. But a big problem happened just a few days ago, a big accident, 3 people died. They were using the Chinese the Xiaomi SU7 electric vehicle, a recent fatal highway accident. I don't have that video, but I do have the video where they replicated it. It sparked debate on Chinese social media. It's a big debate regarding the safety of smart driving. The preliminary findings released by the company indicate that the vehicle was in what they call navigation on autopilot. That's what they call it in China. Before the tragedy, though the cause of the accident remains undetermined. This is what the Xiaomi SU7 looks like. And this particular version did not have LiDAR in it. And as we'll learn in this article here, that China has different levels of ADAS. In this particular article, fatal highway accident sparks smart driving safety debate on social media. Experts suggest to reduce the reliance on that. So in China, their vehicle driving automation classification standard, they have it categorized as L0 to L5, corresponding to 6 levels of emergency assistance, partial driving assistance, combined driving assistance, conditional autonomous driving, highly automated driving, and fully automated driving. So the L0 to L2 is the driver assistance, and that's what this car was using. Assists the driver to just perform dynamic driving. So even though it's actually not, this full self-driving thing, that's what they think it is. And partly the fault of both, because the vendors themselves kind of start marketing this as fully autonomous driving. So that's what happened, sparked a big debate. And then on Tuesday, the Xiaomi, the company, they said a statement, showed the vehicle was on the driving mode, but that they will likely add LiDAR to it in the future. So before we show you the video of how FSD performed, what's your thinking of that, Larry?
Well, I think they'll have an accident with their LiDAR added just the same way as they had this accident now. I mean, if you're driving on, assisted driving and you're not paying attention, you're going to have an accident, LiDAR or assisted driving notwithstanding. That's just the reality of life. Assisted driving means just that, assisted. And the car can do all kinds of crazy things and does all kinds of crazy things. I mean, we don't know that the sensor didn't fail. We don't know what happened. And certainly until we do, we'll not resolve this, but we know that LiDAR will not resolve it.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, the promoters of Chinese LiDAR, those companies, they say that the horrific accident could have been avoided if LiDAR was installed. Tesla's LiDAR-less FSD proves the safety of vision-only solution, as all the FSD videos out of China show it works in all these adverse traffic conditions, day or night, rain or shine, capable of recognizing obstacles ahead and corresponding accordingly. Not all vision-only ADAS solutions are the same. After this accident, it's likely that Xiaomi will add LiDAR to its lower price SU7. This is Ray gathering this from his evaluation of what the social media is saying there. So what happened was some of the FSD testers who have Teslas, they tried the same stretch of highway construction zone at the same speed at night where the deadly accident occurred. FSD performed smoothly and confidently. In order to replicate the same speed of 110 to 120 kilometers an hour, the driver pressed the accelerator but didn't touch the steering wheel. Let's watch the video here. I can see it clearly. I'm going to take off the music, the sound there. You say, well, I don't know what that is. 70, 81. And he's talking about the speed now. Sorry. Controllable range. This is within the controllable range. This is really impressive. He's trying to replicate the speed and it's going through the construction zone. Safest speed. So he's just basically that the FSD is performing well. It feels comfortable. It's controlled. And it's, I don't know, 10 billion. Of course, this is 120 kilometers. Speed won't stop. Awesome. Yeah. Sorry, guys. The translation there didn't do as well as I thought it was going to do. But, basically they replicated the highway construction zone. We don't have the video of the actual accident that happened, but they did. Nighttime, the speed was the same. And they said that the car understood exactly what to do there.
Yeah, let's just state that there are going to be accidents with full FSD. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt that Tesla's FSD is far superior to anything in China right now. We've seen enough evidence of that to be able to be pretty confident of it. We don't know what happened with this accident. We don't know what went wrong. We don't know anything other than it was using their driver assist. So time alone will tell, but I'm pretty confident right now after tens of thousands of miles on version 13 that version 13 is pretty safe. It's not 100%. I'm pretty confident that the newer version that is going to be released shortly, actually, for the Austin trial is significantly further advanced than the current version that we have, which feels pretty good already. It's not perfect, the current version. I think the one that will be released won't be perfect either, but the rate of improvement and the state of the improvement right now is such that I think we've reached the starting point of true FSD, and I'm very comfortable about it. And I'm also very comfortable that LiDAR is actually, it's a crutch that doesn't help. It's a crutch that actually I think will lead to really serious problems down the road.
So a month ago, right before the FSD, Tesla FSD was rolled out in China, everybody was saying, there's videos that went viral saying that the best systems are actually the Chinese smart driving. They said that the Huawei is better than Tesla's. And it's not just that LiDAR adds extra sensors that Tesla doesn't have. And then they think that they have a good enough driving system. What really you need to think about is whether or not they're using neural nets or not. And they're using neural nets only for, it's not end-to-end, they're only using for certain pieces. So as FSD rolled out in China, now there's been these head-to-head comparisons. And across the board, the Chinese are realizing that Tesla's FSD is generations ahead. Not just the beta testers, but actually the executives of all these car companies and suppliers and so forth. And one of the influencers came out last week, and his name is Andy Lee, and he wrote a long blog post explaining the difference. And one of the things that struck out to me was that adding LiDAR to these coded systems, it can prevent an accident because it knows whether or not there's something there or not there. But that's basically it. What you need is a system that can understand the context. And a couple examples he gave was, let's say that you're driving and there's an intersection coming up and there's no light and it's your right away. The LiDAR-based coded systems like the Chinese almost all are, including the Huawei one and the Xiaomi one. They'll barrel right through, just drive right through this thing. Tesla's FSD will recognize that it's an intersection, and it'll slow down just in case it doesn't see something coming. That's an example of something that he said that you don't see with these other systems. The other one he gave was, the standard one where there's a bus and you're behind the bus, and the Chinese system will just sit there because there's something in front of them. The Tesla will go, okay, there's something there, but I think I can go around it, knows the context, sees it's safe, will then go around it, and it'll do it pretty quickly without waiting forever for that to make that decision. These are small examples of like neural net understanding the context, then deciding to do it. But
I see it every day. And, I'm used to, I lived with this thing since version, 8.
Right.
And I understand exactly what he's saying because I went through it. I used to have that frustration of it, just not getting it, just not understanding, doing these dangerous things, and all that's gone away now. And it's remarkable the rate of improvement from one version to the other. And there's been a little delay now in the latest release because I think this release is kind of their initiation into FSD. So it's taken a little bit while longer. So I'm excited to see the new release, but everything he said, I've experienced. So I'm aligned with him 100%.
He had a line there. I want to see what you think about it. His line was, it's ridiculous that we're all following takeover rates, critical disengagement rates. That doesn't matter. The actual metric that you should be following is, will you use it or won't you?
Yeah.
Because like he goes, you as a user will know whether or not, like he goes, if this system is like jerking around and it doesn't know if it's going to do something or not do something, that's as big of an issue than a takeover. It's
He's 100% right. The determinant for me was my wife decided to use it. That was a huge determinant because she's a very cautious driver. She's very cautious about the car she drives and about where she drives, and she decided to use it. And in fact, this has freed her to go out at night on her own without me, because up to, in recent years, she's demanded that I drive at night. She's now doing it freely. Okay. That's the test. And honestly, I haven't had a real safety violation. For a while, and Gary Black says, "Oh, everybody's ahead of Tesla because they have a higher takeover intervention rate." He doesn't understand. 90% of the interventions I do is just to park the car in the parking lot or in the beginning or the end, or voluntary interventions for a whole host of reasons. So, I mean, the whole metric he's using has got no real reality. It's not reality based. But I will tell you that the Model 3 is really close to being ready. The Cybertruck, not so much. The FSD hasn't yet got the geometry of the car and the movement of the car down pat. But it's perfect in the Model 3 and the Model Y.
Hardware for Model 3 specifically. Yeah, because I've got
specifically
both.
I'm talking about hardware for, yes.
I've got the hardware 3 and the Model 3 too. It is a huge leap difference. So just the final thoughts on, the rollout of FSD and autonomous driving. You have all these competitors in China, and they're all expecting it now, right? Even BYD and Huawei both just announced a couple of weeks ago, we're going to need to now introduce this to all of our cars. It's table stakes. You can't roll out a car anymore that doesn't have ADAS. Do you think that these kind of events, like there will be more accidents, there will be more deaths? Is it going to cause this stir in social media, the public?
Well, any death that occurs under FSD is going to cause a stir. Nobody even thinks to report on a death in a motor, in a fully manually driven motor car, because there's so many tens of thousands of them. Look, Norway and Netherlands are going to introduce FSD in this coming year. That's for sure. China, there's no doubt that it's going to happen this coming year. It's going to happen in selected cities here. you and I will be sitting talking about this in 2 years' time, say, can you believe what we went through to get the
Yeah.
FSD? Because it'll be everywhere. It'll be
Yeah.
everywhere. So we're in this, it's about to take off, but we're in this kind of just beginning the S curve.
Yeah.
And the S curve is very flat at the beginning and then it takes off.
You know what I'm very I ponder a lot is how Tesla was able to navigate this so well. I think that the FSD version that I'm using now in hardware 4 has reached a level where it's safer than humans. It's safer than me driving. That the point where like we're closer to there than we were, like, let's say where you can say that, oh, you're testing a system that's killing people, but it didn't really kill like in masses that everybody was concerned about as you were still testing it. So I think in FSD anyways, I think it's hit that point now where it's
Yeah,
no
it's
longer
more
going
than
to cause, yeah.
Yeah, it's more than probable that FSD has been abused and will be abused in terms of its usage, just as driving a car is abused and has been abused. So, but I think we're at the, we're at the takeoff stage.
Yeah.
All the rest is just noise, and that noise is going to continue. Herbert, you're going to have a lot more noise as it gets implemented, and it's going to, taper off as we get up the S curve. So I think we're in very good shape right now.
Okay. So that's the update on full self-driving. Again, the Chinese are comparing it against the Chinese auto systems, and they're coming away saying that Tesla's FSD is generations ahead. So let's talk about the bot, because there's the Chinese bots, there's these competitors, and the conversation we're hearing is, oh my God, Tesla's behind. They've not shown a demo in months. Everyone else is dropping demos, especially the Chinese, showing how great it is. So Elon did drop this, or Tesla did drop a recent image here, a video of the Tesla bot walking. Accurate actuators accelerate automation. And you've got Milan Kovac, who's in charge of the humanoid bot program. He said, our latest walk, straight knees, smoother heel to toe gait, and arm sway, just chilling around. This was entirely trained in simulation with reinforcement learning. So as you take down the music here, the sound, but when you see it walking, people still say, yeah, I've seen the Chinese bots walk and run. This is not impressive. But compared to Tesla's previous bot, this is how that walks now, but this was the way it used to walk. A little bit slower, a little bit lower, not as smooth. So huge difference. I guess a couple questions for you, Larry. It's like, one, why did they use the version 2 of this? So this is Bumblebee, the very first version, and they had a Gen 1, then they had a Gen 2. Why didn't they show us the Gen 3? This is Gen 2. That's the one we're looking at. And Elon said much better actuators are coming. So what's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I've been in bot development centers, and they'll use what's available to them at that time for testing purposes. So I don't think it means anything which generation they're using. What is important is that it's walking based upon reinforced learning. So that indicates a very important step. One of the most important features of the Tesla bot is its energy usage. They've figured on 4-hour shifts between charges, or even more. And so, when you see it being able to walk, or it's being able to handle 4 hours of actual usage, that's a huge advantage compared to some of the other bots that we've seen in the marketplace. And the fact that it can, do all this by reinforced learning. So, we don't have visibility into this, and we certainly don't have true visibility into all the other programs. All I know is that Tesla is gearing up to build at scale, and it's very, very difficult for any of these other manufacturers to match their ability to scale and their ability to control the cost of the bill of materials. The bill of materials on these bots are still very high. Bringing that down is the secret to mass, introduction. And I think that's the situation that they're at. And I think they're probably at a larger scale of availability of the Model 2 than they are yet with the Model 3.
Yeah, I mean, I keep hearing everybody saying Tesla's behind. Can you not see these demos left, right, and center? Why isn't Tesla showing you what they're doing? So one, Tesla is number one. If you're number one, you don't show demos. You want to hide it, actually. You don't need to show it too often. You don't need to. What matters is the things you said, right? Whether or not, how long are these actuators going to last before they break? So it's one thing for we see demos of these, the Chinese and the other makers, but we don't know. They're demos. We don't know anything.
How long will they last? Is how much weight can they sustain? How much force can they sustain?
How much can they carry? Yeah.
How much can they carry? How much energy do they use? There's just so much to it. And at the top of the pyramid of concerns is cost.
Yeah.
Right now, these bills of material are still, in the hundreds of thousands. If maybe in 100,000, but certainly possibly in the 200,000. They've got to bring that down by huge quantities.
And that's
Tesla's
why,
going to be able to do it.
That's why when he said, Elon said that much better actuators are coming, that's the most important part because it's the most numerous bot.
Yeah.
So Optimus Gen 3, we haven't seen it yet. And you showing in the demo that they don't need to show you what the Gen 3 will be. Larry, do you think that the 5,000 bots that Elon is saying he wants to build by the end of this year, are they going to be Gen 3 or they might be Gen 2?
No, I think they're going to be Gen 3. Once you're going to tool up, you're not going to tool up for an older generation. I think that the whole point of Gen 3 is it's designed for tools, for tools that are going to be long-term. And that would be my guess.
Yeah, I agree with you. However, I will say that, Jeff Lutz has said that it's not unusual for a manufacturer to produce thousands of a pre-production prototype. So if they needed to, they could just go ahead and use this to make the 5,000. And what you're actually piloting is the production of it. But yeah, maybe you're right. You're more likely you're right.
I'm inclined to disagree with Jeff. I think they're going to do Gen 3. That's right.
He didn't say that they're not going to do Gen 3. I mean, he just said that.
It's possible. That's what I said. I agree with
it's me that said. it's just just because some people are saying, "Oh, do you know that they're behind? Tesla's behind because they rebuilt the arm, and we haven't seen it, so therefore." They're not going to build 5,000 of this. They're behind. And I'm like, well, if they really needed to, Tesla could build. If he wants to hit this 5,000 number, why not use the Gen 2? There's no reason why you can't do that. Ideally, though, they won't. They'll use Gen 3. Yeah. They're on their way.
If I had to guess, I would say it's Gen 3.
Oh, yeah, I do too. So I like what Humanoid Hub here said, though. Okay, it's kind of funny seeing people write off Optimus just because of what they see in public demos. Yeah, other companies might look ahead right now when it comes to showing of agility, but that's just one part of the humanoid game. Let's be real, that's not something Tesla can't catch up on. Of course they can, and they will. What makes Tesla formidable is how it's pushing all aspects of convergence forward at once with a high level of vertical integration. Okay, so you got body design, you got the hands, you have AI inference computer, simulation, AI foundation models, training infrastructure, data collection, pilot fleets, and maybe most importantly, manufacturing. It's what you were saying. It's not body design and how long it lasts. Seeing something, jump and do sky, jumping jacks, it's dance moves. Okay, but these are things that really matter. We haven't seen anything new on the body design since December 2023. But if you think Tesla's just been chilling for 16 months, you're up for a surprise. I believe they've been quietly dialing it all in, keeping things more secretively, probably to prevent the Chinese competitors from copying, or maybe because they had to go back to the drawing board for a fundamentally different design philosophy. In any case, when the next gen body's ready, it'll be sitting at a much higher convergence point across every other aspect of a viable technology product. Tesla and Elon have a history of building great products and services that lead to a sustainable business, not science projects that hemorrhage cash forever. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is punching in the dark. This is punching in the dark based upon Tesla's track record. And so it's reasonable. I prefer to punch in the light. So I'm being a little bit patient. I'm not getting anxious about where Tesla is in the hierarchy. I'm not worried about which body and which. I'm very confident in Tesla's ability to scale this business, to enter into this business, to scale in it, and to be fairly dominant in it. I think there are going to be multiple dominant players and probably a fairly large number. Look, the market for these bots are going to be gigantic. We think, we believe. And if that's true, then Tesla's not going to fulfill the entire market. And the lead, there are going to be multiple guys at the forefront, and each are going to have different specialties.
Yep.
And so time will tell.
Yep. I'm in that camp. I don't think it's important to talk about competitors. You're not competing. You're really trying to survive. You're trying to make as many as you can. You want to make this useful bot as your own. If you can do it on yourself, you will survive. There's enough in the market until, I don't know, 5-10 years from now, but maybe you'll be fighting for competitor or customers. I don't think so for a long time. So just, well, you're on a race of your own.
Tesla is the only manufacturer right now that has enough demand, internal demand for,
right.
I don't know, 20,000 bots, 10,000 bots, a very large number of bots.
Their own.
And so that puts them in a very different position to most.
Okay. So another interesting thing is the supercharger. This new supercharger is coming to Roswell, New Mexico. Marco RP discovered this. Tesla is currently planning a cyber UFO-themed station in Whataburger, New Mexico. The site will feature 8 charging stalls. 8 charging stalls located under a cyber canopy and this solar alloy. So it looks really, really cool. That's what it looks like. They're really going all out to make this thing look different and unique, cyber themed. This includes a solar panel. Looks like the front of a light bar. And then Max de Ziger, who's in charge of the supercharger program, he weighed in and said, "We want to build a few superchargers cool enough to be worthy of the trip itself, destination. Wish we could have kept it under wraps for longer, but submittal was needed for planning approval. We can't hide anything from Marco RP because he found it." Yeah, this is what it looks like. So it's pretty cool. What do you think about this idea that they're not just building superchargers just to get them out there? They're trying to create destinations.
Yeah. Well, and so are Rivian, by the way. Rivian do pretty good at that. They have a handful of really interesting charging stations. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. I enjoy going to those destinations. There's some, I wish they would move all superchargers away from these old, shopping centers. These shopping centers are dying. You have to go there at night. The place is dead. Mm-hmm. They need to move, redevelop those. And this is the kind of development that I love to see.
Yeah, maybe they'll have their own, like the Tesla diner, right? The whole shebang, whole experience.
Yeah, do a chain of those.
What are you thinking then? So with the robotaxi launching in June, we had, I think Lars Morvey was interviewed recently with, I think it was Jay Leno, and he said something like, we're going to have handfuls of wireless chargers as part of the June rollout. I'm not sure if it's going to be June, but part of the robotaxi pilot, handfuls already, which is great. It's part of the thing they're testing. So he confirmed that.
It's hard to see. I mean, unless they specially equip these Model Ys that they're going to be using with induction chargers, because the Model Y doesn't come with an induction charger, as far as I understand it. So I know that the Cybercab is coming with induction chargers built in, but unless they add these induction chargers to the Model Ys that they're going to be using in Texas, and I doubt it, because with the pressure to introduce the Model Y, have they done the development necessary? So I'm very skeptical about the use of induction chargers. I'd be very delighted to see it, but let's see what happens. Induction charging is
Yeah.
coming. It's coming to the entire range of Tesla vehicles. I'm convinced of that. It's going to become the standard in the next 4 or 5 years. I'm convinced of that, but it's not here yet.
By the way, Franz also confirmed, or he's indicated that there will be cybercabs at this pilot program as well in this June in Austin. I would expect that they'll, have a handful of these cybercabs, handful of wireless charging. They're going to test everything that they can test, including
That
the
makes
cybercabs.
sense.
Yeah,
I can't remember the confirmation that there would be cybercabs in this test.
Yeah,
I guess
Franz
these
said
are
it.
the prototypes that they already have that they'll be using.
Yeah, we got a quote
that makes
directly from
sense.
Franz saying that. Yeah,
That makes
Yep.
sense to have a few of these induction chargers then.
yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Larry. So we covered a little bit of what's happening with FSD, with the bot, wireless charging. We're getting close. These are the important businesses that we need to follow closely. Thank you, Larry. Follow him closely. Go to his X account at Tesla Larry. Thanks. Bye, everybody. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.